Well, we've done it again, Cooper. We have gotten with Taylor and we have made some cool guitars exclusive to us. We have some 814s to tell you about, so stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name's Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with the Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom designed t-shirts like the storefront t-shirt, which I think is the most popular shirt that we offer currently. Anyways, cool stuff. Like the guitars we're holding. Very cool stuff. So these are exclusives to Alamo Music. Now we did an exclusive before. Which one was that? That was the
little 914.
Little 914, little Chris McKee signature.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually didn't remember and you had to ask me.
No.
That is
just wanted to prompt
in the Hall of Fame, the 914 CE Limited, and so much demand that we got more and more.
Yeah,
and
very cool guitars.
Now we gotta Batman's gonna hang up his cape, you know what I'm saying?
It's Robin's time for the spotlight. Yeah, so we had an idea. This was an idea that came out from us and our Taylor rep, J.R. Robinson. And I think these are fantastic guitars. So what we've done is kind of what we did with the 914. With that particular guitar, it was a minimal reimagining, so to speak, to bring some of the specs that I loved on my 20-year-old 914C to the new model. I didn't want to change anything like the bracing because the V-Class bracing is fantastic and I loved a lot of the appointments on those guitars, but I missed an Engelmann spruce top and I missed the Cindy inlay, and that's what we did with those guitars.
Yeah.
In a similar fashion, we have taken the current 814 CE, which is an amazing flagship of a guitar, and believe it or not, we've improved upon it or changed it enough that I think it's a better guitar. Now the first thing is the inlay. We've actually changed the inlay so that visually you know there is something else going on with this guitar. And this is the progressive diamond inlay. Are you familiar with this inlay?
So I wasn't before. I mean, to a certain extent, I've gone through the Taylor custom thing and seen every possible inlay. But why was it that you chose this one?
This is the classic 800 series inlay. So if you were looking or familiar with Taylor guitars, really kind of since their inception when the 800 series was a thing up through the early 2000s, the early aughts, this was the inlay that was on it. Now the next two inlays, including the current one, were basically variations of this. The kind of silhouette was always there. Their current element inlay, I think is what it's called, is inspired by this. And in between, there was kind of a flower diamond-shaped inlay, a floral diamond inlay. That was progressive as well. And the idea is that from here as it goes up, it's changing subtly as you progress up. But these classic split diamond progressive inlays are what used to be on the 800 series, and I just think they're classic. I really have liked that inlay, and so I wanted to kind of bring it back. It's, again, the current ones are an homage. These are the original. So there you go. The other thing, which is why it's important to have a visual distinction, is the only other thing that we've really changed on this is the top. What kind of top did we put on this?
DM for Addy, you know what I'm saying? That's a joke for the Instagram millennials out there. Adirondack spruce.
Adirondack spruce.
Yeah, how can you beat it?
Adirondack spruce is, if you are not familiar, really arguably the most sought after kind of spruce that a lot of people want on their guitars. There's people that say back in the golden era of Martin, Adirondack spruce and Brazilian rosewood created like the sound of the Martin guitar, in addition to their designs and stuff. But it was part and parcel of that formula, and it was overlogged. I mean, Adirondack went away for a number of years, and Sitka's a great top, but Addy is it's different, and it gives you the highest potential volume ceiling out of any top regularly used on an acoustic guitar. And so we've talked a little bit in the past about the spectrum, if you will. And on one end of the spectrum you have cedar. It's very soft, it's very responsive, but you can't really get much volume out of it. Because it's so soft and responsive, it just kind of will give up the ghost too quickly.
It's floppy.
Yeah, it gets floppy. As you move up, redwood is like cedar with steroids. It's got more volume out of it, but that responsive dark tone. You move up further, you start getting into your spruces. like your Engelmann spruces, your European spruces. They're softer than Sitka. So again, very round sounds, very responsive, but not much volume. Sitka's kind of been a good all around. And then above Sitka, the custom order, the special order option that you have to pay more money for is always Adirondack. And Adirondack with rosewood is like a cannon.
Yeah.
And so,
Sounds so good.
tell me, in Taylor's lineup, what guitar you can currently buy in their lineup that has an Adirondack top?
Is it none?
None. None is the answer. You can order one custom, but none is the correct answer. It's either Sitka spruce or Lutz or Lutz spruce. That's the offerings, because there's not that much Adirondack, and
Yeah.
it's definitely a premium.
It's definitely
thing.
premium. So I want to ask about a few different things, whether they're standard 800 series appointments or not.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I think are sort of subtle, but when you look close, like you just saw me, I was like looking at stuff. Is this a maple inlay outline on the fingerboard?
On the fingerboard
that
and the headstock.
extends into the headstock.
Yeah.
That's just such a clean, good look. And then maple binding all over, right?
Yeah, and one of the things, I'm glad you pointed this out, part of the thing I like with the progressive diamond inlays is there's a sharpness to it. I mean, not like cut yourself, but it's very crisp lines.
Yeah.
It's very geometrical. And I think it really works well with the clean lines of the series.
Yeah. And then, so go on, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, and you've got, the rosewood pickguard, which is typically there, rosewood and abalone around the rosette. And then you've got the same, this is the newer feature for the 800 series that's retained here, which is the radiused armrest, which is so comfortable.
Yeah.
And East Indian rosewood. East Indian rosewood is just, it's such a good tone wood.
Well, it's like in 2021, I was about to say 2019. In 2021, Adirondack spruce and premium grade East Indian rosewood is the closest you're ever going to get to that classic combo of the,
Yeah, I mean, you can't get
Brazilian.
It's really hard to find Brazilian. If you
but
do, it's stumpwood or really old.
Nice rosewood. It's, it's like, how can you complain between these two?
Yeah, really nice straight grained rosewood, really beautiful coloration. This is really nice back and sides paired with this. I love the pale maple binding that offsets it. This one of the wood bindings is one of my favorite things that they did with the 800 series. But I think this pairing is really a fantastic sound for this guitar. And the tone that I've heard on these, and you've played it just a little bit, is hi-fi. It's like, it's a hi-fi sound, even more so than you would typically expect. There's a lot of shimmer and there's a lot of volume. And I will say this, sometimes, and I want to ask Andy Powers about this sometimes, because this may be the first Taylor guitar with an Adirondack spruce top and V-class bracing that I've played,
Yeah.
And it's more responsive than a lot of other Adirondack guitars. So Adirondack has the highest volume ceiling, but sometimes you got to dig into a little bit more, particularly when it's new. And I haven't found that to be the case with these guitars. They're very, very responsive.
Yeah, it feels great. I want to hear you play it.
All right, well, I'm going to play it since you asked so nicely. So pay attention. We're going to go through some songs on this, and you'll hear some of the nuanced differences that having that Addy top does for these guitars. Check it out. All right, so there you have it. Alamo Music's exclusive Taylor 814 CEs with Adirondack spruce tops and progressive diamond inlays. Thoughts?
I have questions for you. I have questions, and I want to ask from the point of view of one of our viewers or a repeat customer. If somebody loved the 914, what would you say are the biggest points that this would also add to the collection? Or if somebody wanted a 914, wasn't able to get their hands on one, why would you say that this is an equally great choice?
Well, this is an equally great choice because a lot of the features are very similar from a playability standpoint. They both got the armrest, which I love, typical Taylor playability and so forth. It is a different guitar, though, because the top response is different. 90% of your sound is what we say, influenced by the top of the guitar. So in Engelmann spruce, the reason we switched to that from Sitka, is like I explained earlier, it's got a rounder tone. It's very responsive. It's not going to give you the volume that Sitka would, so arguably it's a quieter guitar, but if you're finger picking or you just like that kind of matured spruce sound, then that's where it's at. This is like shimmer for days. It is going to be that hi-fi tone that will give you a lot more volume, even if you've got a light touch. This is a louder guitar than a typical 814. And it's something that's unique that's not typically available. And my favorite part, it's only a few $100s more than a normal 800 series. So if you've been looking for an 814 CE, to me, this is kind of a no-brainer. You get a really cool guitar that's different with a special inlay on it and an upgraded top. Because if, we've talked about this with limiteds, right? If you go to the custom shop, you try to do a custom order, everything is a la carte. Everything you pick and choose from a menu, and when you add it all up, it costs more. It's not like you take an 814 and you change something and it's just a small thing. But when we do something like this, where we order enough, then we can get the pricing such that, like on limiteds, when they do enough, then it makes it a better value.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the math works on that. And so, these are fantastic. Even if you have an existing 814, the difference is not going to be as dramatic, but this is going to sound different than a Sitka spruce topped 814 CE.
Yeah. It's like a premium flagship guitar.
Yeah.
It's like just an upgraded flagship, which I think is very cool. Also, from my point of view, the aesthetics are different enough between the 914 and the 814, both limiteds, without sacrificing anything that makes it scream, this is Taylor style. But the inlays on this, very different from the Cindy.
Really like them.
The pick guard on here, the tuners on here, everything on here being wood, basically, besides the progressive diamonds. It's a completely different style that's still the luxurious thing. It's really cool. I like.
Yeah, compared to our previous exclusive, this is more understated elegance.
Yeah.
And so, I really like it. I think it's a supercharged 814 CE, effectively. And so if you're interested in a supercharged 814 CE, have we got some for you? So if you have questions about this, you want to check out some of the beautiful photography we have on these guitars, or you just want to pick our brains, go to alamomusic.com and they can chat with someone live, right? It's not a bot.
Not a bot. It's a real guy or gal, and they're going to get real hurt if you call them a bot. So don't do that, because it happens all the time, and you would be surprised.
Are you a bot?
Yeah, get out of here, robot. I see that all the time on there.
And you're like, it's Cooper.
How can I prove it? All right, I'll do a CAPTCHA for you. I'm not a robot. How many, as of right now, of these do we have?
10.
We got 10. So time is of the essence.
So here's how this works, too. We may get more. We did that with the 914s as wood's available. The reason Adirondack is not in the standard lineup and is typically only available through special things like this and custom orders is because there's just not that much of it.
Yeah.
There's less of it than there is Sitka spruce. And so it's based upon availability and when we can do these kinds of collaborations. And this is fun. We'll definitely be doing more, but I think this is an awesome value, and I'm so excited that it is not that much more expensive than an 814C.
It's the best.
So
it makes it more accessible to people that probably have wanted an 814 for a really long time, and now there's opportunity to get custom shop upgrades and not have to go into the custom shop. It's really nice.
Yeah, very cool. So check it out on our website at alamomusic.com. Let us know if you have any questions. And if you want to hang out with Cooper and I doing some Alamo Music Insider stuff on Patreon, the link is in the description below. We have lessons over there. We've got some behind the scenes stuff, which is pretty cool. You can learn all about Josh's behind the camera macaroni and cheese brisket habits. It's kind of disturbing, but it is what it is. And then keep coming back for more. At the end of the day, I say the best guitar in the world is an Alamo Music Taylor collaboration on exclusive guitars.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat it. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.